Hello everyone, I am your source for all that is living in Cambodia, living your best life, living in La Vida Loca. Make you take your clothes off and go dancing in the rain. I'm Ryan and today we are going hunting. Actually, I don't think YouTube likes guns in their videos. They won't put ads on it if there's too many guns. So we'll have to replace those guns with something, maybe a kitten. YouTube seems to really love kittens. Sarah and I just moved to Cambodia and we need to find a place to live. So we're going apartment hunting. Actually, we found a place to live, but I'm just pretending that we haven't. I'm not sure why. Lying just seems like the right thing to do in this situation. I saw a ton of apartments. I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to show you some different styles and I'll give you some of those hot tips. Hot tips. All that and a whole lot more. Not really a whole lot more. I mean, depends what you count as more. Like, is me pretending to shoot a kitten, is that more? Or is that just a bunch of fluff, like filler garbage that, you know, depends what...
Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this.
Our apartment hunt began the way any good hunt begins, on the internet. For those of you actually watching because you want to find an apartment in Cambodia, I'm going to leave some juicy links in the description below, links to various rental websites. I know the majority of people watching don't need for me to list off a bunch of links to apartment websites in Cambodia. You guys are here for one thing and one thing only. Definitely check out the various Facebook groups. We got Phnom Penh Housing. Actually, there's 3 Phnom Penh Housing Facebook groups. Also, apps like Kamai24. It's an app. It's got stuff for sale and for rent on it. Keep in mind that most of the stuff you see posted online is from agents, not federal agents, not the men in black, but rental agents. And they're going to want to show you a ton of apartments. They're going to send you messages daily. I got another one. I got to show you this one. I want to show you this one. I'm going to harass you a little bit. I don't want to say harass, but I said harass, and I'm going to stick by that word because my vocabulary is very small. Basically, if you take one of the apartments that they show you, they're going to make the money. This is the money. I don't know why the Italian accent. Is it Italian? It could be Jamaican. I don't know, man. Now it's getting Jamaican because I said man, but I don't know if it's... Yeah, so this is our first crossroad, I guess. To agent or not to agent? This is the question. Let's go ahead and make a pros and cons list. This way. Pros. Easier, faster. Gonna meet somebody, so you probably won't be as lonely as you normally are. Cons, they might influence your decision and you might pay a little bit more. From what I can gather, they're paid based on a percentage of the monthly rent. So that means that it's not really gonna cost you anything. You don't have to pay them, but it also means that they're probably not gonna negotiate as hard for you as you'd like. We actually started our hunt by approaching the building management of various buildings that we found across the city. To find these, we went on different websites. We sneakily, just combine the 2 words because then if somebody says, no, it's actually sneakily, then I say, that's what I said. And if they say, no, it's actually snuckily, no, it's definitely not snuckily. A lot of buildings will have a Facebook page. You can go on their Facebook page, find the contact number. Hopefully you can plug it into your phone and it'll jump up into one of your apps. Telegram and WhatsApp are the most popular ones here, so you're going to want to download those. And then you can just message them and you don't have to worry about talking to them on the phone, and you know how it is talking to people, right? Nobody likes talking. But to find the names of the buildings, I was like going through photos and like trying to like see the name of the building, maybe like in the background of a photo that one of the agents posted. Or you can check Google Maps, just type in apartment buildings and some of them will pop up. Or just drive the neighborhood you like and see any tall buildings, head to that building, tuk-tuk driver, and then you'll go outside of it, look at the name of it, write it down, and try to contact them that way. But what neighborhood should you want to live in? That is up to you. It's not up to me. I will not make that decision for you. I mean, I want to live on Sesame Street. Sesame Street doesn't exist. Found that out way too late in life. We started off our search in the Russian market based on what we read online, just doing some research, Some guy said it's a good spot to live, probably. And we went, okay, this guy seems to know stuff. And we saw a bunch of apartments there. But to be honest, I don't think you can make your decision based on that. You should go to the neighborhood, you should have a look around. Different parts of the Russian market feel different. You gotta find the place that vibes with you. Every agent that I asked said the best neighborhood to live in is BKK1. I don't know what they're basing that on, but I heard that answer a few times. But we decided pretty early on that we're not gonna limit ourselves to a specific neighborhood. Our only location restrictions were that we wanted restaurants and shops within walking distance, and it had to be within a 15-minute tuk-tuk ride to the brothel that I got Sara a job at. Before we even arrived in Cambodia, we made a little chart of what we definitely wanted to have, what we would like to have, and what would be a bonus to have. One of the things we decided we wanted for sure was a pool, but like anything in life, if you want something, you gotta make sacrifices. For example, I wanted to be with Sara. I had to sacrifice my balls. Sarah's not gonna like that joke. But you know what? I'm bigger than her. What's she gonna do about it? I still have my balls. Life is about sacrifices. If we wanted a pool, we'd have to live in a service department. What is a service department? I probably should have explained that earlier. Let's rewind a little bit and we'll jump back into that.
Ryan opened his eyes when I said that.
Don't rub his cheek.
That's right.
If he's
Whoops,
not
too far.
him, he'd come around here and get a picture of him really sucking.
There are like 3 different types of places that people typically live in when they come to Cambodia. You got your service departments, which are pretty much just set up for foreigners. They're like 100% occupied by foreigners. And they come with all kinds of little perks, so it just makes your life easier. You don't have to worry about going out and paying your bill or whatever. And they even include like a cleaning person coming in once or twice a week to clean up your apartment. All these places that we saw on our first day are service departments. After seeing oh shit, I forgot to f***ing empty the card. Damn, you're home? What time is it?
It's like 3:15.
You're home early today.
No. Very east was led. Maybe coming home.
No,
Masturbating.
After seeing a bunch of these, I really wanted to test the waters of a non-service department, something that didn't feel like a hotel, something that we, could kind of make our own and just would feel like we're living in an apartment. For this, the best options are older, more traditional buildings that have been renovated, like this apartment right here.
So this one, if you like to plant, you can plant.
Oh, wow.
And the system of the water is there. You just turn on, turn off.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Don't like that big giant construction building. Cement trucks out. You're probably not going to get your cleaning service with these, but you'll still get everything taken care of, like your internet, your water, your electricity. You don't have to pay those bills yourself. They're set up for foreigners mostly, but you're not like in foreigner land building. The other option is a house or an apartment that isn't renovated, and we didn't actually see any of those. They're just a little too basic for us. There's a lot of things you have to worry about if you're a foreigner living in Cambodia, and not being able to speak the language, things are more difficult. So just having the perks of like somebody taking care of some of that stuff for us it's just worth it for me. When we lived in Vietnam, we actually lived in a house, and it was like a full-time job taking care of that place. There's a lot of things you don't think about, having to go out on the scooter to go pay a bill and just try to communicate what you're doing and all this stuff. And also the tropical critters that you have to deal with. I didn't want to have to deal with that again. We would come home after a couple weeks vacation and there would be literally 45 dead cockroaches in our house. I don't know what was going on while we were away, but there seemed to be some kind of like agreement to a mass suicide in our house for cockroaches. Also the fight against ants, giant spiders, rats, the potential for flooding, leaks. Don't ever get a property with vegetation in a tropical climate because stuff likes to grow here. I was like every week sweeping up all the leaves that fell off the trees and just piling them up over the sewer, lighting them on fire and burning it down. It's not a great way to do things, but I tried bagging it, and that you just couldn't do it. And all the neighbors were doing the same thing. That's just the way they do it there.
Okay, that's a big neighborhood fire.
It's just not worth the hassle. I'm sure you can save some money, but everything's pretty cheap here, so. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, guess I have to start listening to AC/DC now.
Oh, geez. I told you, you can't buy an AC/DC shirt if you only know one AC/DC song.
What's that AC/DC song that I know?
You don't know one?
I know AC/DC. They're the Australian band, right? And they wear like skirts. Right?
Yeah, schoolboy outfit, not
Yeah.
skirts.
A little rock style.
I was talking about living in Vietnam and how big of a pain in the ass it was to live in a house. Cockroaches. Scorpions. Spiders.
Frogs.
Giant snails.
Oh, let's
Millipedes.
get a pond. Oh shit, now our pond is infested with frog spawn and now we have 1,000 frogs that live there.
Exactly. So at this point in our search, we hadn't really decided, do we want renovated old style apartment or serviced apartment? We just had to see more places and try to find a place that fit with us, I guess. Renovated, older would almost certainly mean... What the f***? Come on, dude!
It was a joke.
Jesus. This apartment was pretty cool. The owner designed it herself. It was hip. We really liked it. We loved the style of it. But it was on the ground floor, and that meant that more tropical critters could kind of get in the house, and it also meant more mosquitoes. The area was kind of like leafy, and I think the higher floor you're on, the less mosquitoes you're gonna get, and that's a huge concern when it comes to picking out a place. Mosquitoes are not only annoying, but they're also a health risk. A lot of people in Cambodia die every year because of them, so we kind of decided that we wanted a place that wasn't on the ground floor. A lot of people were saying that you're not going to use the pool nearly as much as you think you will, but of course those people don't have some dude sitting around all day who's looking for reasons to procrastinate. Today I'm going to jump on the back of a bike with a guy I met the other day. He's a real estate agent, and he's going to show me a couple places.
I've been inside trying to get these dollars. Trying to make more money than life makes problems. New city, new women now. New weather, new leather, I'ma get it now. Trying to test my patience for it. Do-do-do-do-do, come and get to know me, baby. Do-do-do-do-do, I've been by my lonely baby. Do-do-do-do-do, put it all on me now. Do-do-do-do-do, you be all I need, yeah. Bitch don't need no practice, take over the atlas. I just need that traction, then I break her back, you know, hold her, she a cactus. Clubbing with her bad friends, so I don't want no smoke, she gon' smoke to the max, bitch. Jeez. I just walked in, motherfucker step back, James Harden. You don't want this, little mama, I don't need no practice. Yeah. Hey, I told you I don't need no practice. Talk to you proper, you know that I'm finna go and prosper. I've been here the whole time, now this what they wanna be a part of. Bitch, you need some water. My shit hard knock, they just knock off. So you lost this shit when you walked off. So don't talk that shit, you can't back off. My bro got my back, yeah. Defending loss, I don't need that back, yeah. Running nose, now you back on track, yeah. Crying, but we met in acting class, yeah. Practice on me saying, I'm so sorry, I don't got no time. Bitch, I don't give a fuck, that's fine. It was time to go and change for a dime. Over the atlas, I just need that traction. Then I break her back, you know, hold her, she a cactus. Clubbing with her bad friends. She don't want no smoke, she gon' smoke to the max, bitch. Just, I just walked in. Motherfucker step back, James Harden. You don't want this. Little mama, I don't need no practice. Yeah. Hey, I told you I don't need no practice.
Enough size. Nice enough two air cons. Lots of construction here.
We also have cleaning service also, twice a week.
This is south
Mango
or
tree.
north. Oh, mango tree. Reach out the window and take mangoes.
Yeah, sure.
It's a pretty good bulk. Don't drop that phone.
So which one do you like?
I like this one better.
Yes.
Is it same price?
It's a bit different.
Yeah.
She put this one 700.
So if you like, I have the consideration for you as your wife was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is discount 750 to 7.
7.
7.
Not the best pool. A little murky looking. Thursday. So at this point I probably saw about 10 apartments and I still didn't really know what I was looking for, but I did learn a few things along the way. Location, mega important, and not just location of the neighborhood like I said earlier, but the actual location of the building, because in Cambodia they are building things like a kid who's drinking way too much energy drink playing Fortnite. You're going to want to make sure that there's not some kind of massive construction going on right next to your building. Some of these projects take years to complete and they create a lot of noise. You might see some apartments in this video that cause you to yell at the screen, "What are you doing? Take that one. Why aren't you taking that apartment, you Skeletor hipster?" Yeah, it might look great, but maybe there's a lineup of cement trucks outside. Maybe there's some kind of weird noise happening. I don't know. Which one do you think's funnier?
Oh, find the other one again.
You are so immature. I think this is disgusting. Probably our biggest want was an outdoor space, just a balcony with enough space to put a table and chairs, something with a nice view. Some apartments had construction going on close by, but when you're in the apartment and all the doors are closed, you don't hear it. But we... Uh-oh, who's that? Yeah. Oh, hello. Okay. Oh, wrong one?
But the aircon is okay.
Oh, aircon's good, yeah. Been bugging this lady to come have our hot water fixed for a long time now, and somebody shows up at the door. I think it's them, but it's the aircon repair people, and they're at the wrong apartment. Yeah, that's another thing I could mention, I guess, is building management, but you can't really test that, and apparently it's bad in most places. So even though you can close off the whole apartment and you don't hear the construction, I want to be able to sit outside and enjoy the outdoors and not feel like I'm having dental work done on me. And also, while I'm talking about keeping windows and doors open, yes, this is a segue. That's officially a segue. You can't watch these videos and expect not to get segued on by the king of segues. Just be ready for that. Electricity and cooling your apartment is maybe the most important thing that you need to consider. Cambodia, as indicated by my armpits, is a very hot country. Electricity here is quite expensive, especially if you live in a service apartment that takes care of the electricity bill for you. They're going to charge between 25 and 30 cents per kilowatt. I advise you do not take a place that charges 30 cents per kilowatt. It's going to drive your bill up, and it's just not necessary. In the US and Canada, the average price per kilowatt of electricity is around 10 cents, so it's a big jump up, and it's probably one of the only things that is a lot more expensive here than in Canada, especially considering this country is so hot and you need to pump that AC, you need to use a lot of electricity. Even though I think numbers are stupid and we should not be forcing people to count, I'm going to crunch these numbers for you, tell you how much it costs to run an aircon in Cambodia. According to energyusecalculator.com, running my aircon for about an hour will cost me around 28 cents. That doesn't seem like too much, but that's $6.68 per day if I run it 24/7, and that's $203 per month, and that's just for the aircon. That's not for lights, that's not for any other electricity. Of course, that's not taking everything into consideration. I'm sure it'll vary depending on the size of the room, what temperature you have it set at. Like an open floor plan apartment will probably cost more to keep cool than something that has individual rooms that you can turn an aircon on just for the room. I talked to one lady who lives in our building, the very building that I'm pretending that we haven't found an apartment in yet, and she said that it's costing her family about $400 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment that's running the aircon all the time. Her husband's home all day, so they just blast it at a pretty cold temperature, I think, because they're American and Americans love aircon. They put it on their cereal. For the record, she's the one who said, but we're American, we use a lot of aircon. I don't really want to have to shell out $200 a month for electricity, so the easiest way to avoid this is to run fans. According to USA Today, a fan uses just 1% of the energy that an aircon system does. That's a freaking huge difference. So that being said, a ceiling fan in a living room, great thing to have in a Cambodian apartment. A balcony that you can just open the door and let a breeze in and not have to worry about hearing construction. And also, if you can get some kind of like a breezeway going, if there's a window you can open on one side and another one on the other side and just get that airflow going, some cross breeze action. These are all things that you're going to want to consider when you're finding an apartment. That's a pretty hot tip. Hot tips. Or should I say a pretty cold tip. This place we saw was pretty nice. It had a charm to it. It was a bit small, but the location was great. However, it was bloody hot in there. The window let in a lot of light. I like light, but it also lets in a lot of heat. And the windows didn't open, so that was no good. We would have to run the aircon all the time to keep cool, so it's gonna drive up our bill. No good, no bueno. Also, a lot of the service apartments we saw had giant bedrooms for some reason. And that's not necessarily a good thing in Cambodia. The only time I definitely want to use my AC is when I'm sleeping. I don't want to sleep in a pool in my own sweat. I don't really want to blast a fan on me when I'm sleeping. So that's the only time that we thought we're probably gonna definitely want to use the AC. And a smaller bedroom means a smaller space, means less electricity. So unless you're able to admire decor while you're asleep, which science says that's not possible, then you don't really need a space that's like really cool for your bedroom. You know, you just go there to sleep and use your living room as the place to hang out. Another thing that was important to us was a nice kitchen. We like to cook a lot. In Cambodia, the kitchen isn't really a place to hang out, but in the West, we kind of like to hang out in the kitchen. We like to sit at a kitchen bar, you know, pour some drinks and talk, listen to music. I don't know why, for some reason we gravitate towards the kitchen when we're just hanging out. The same thing can be said for the bathrooms. Well, we don't hang out in the bathrooms. People from the West tend to like a nice bathroom to, like, you know, maybe you're having a bath or you're just, I don't know what people do in the bathroom. I just usually take a shit. But a lot of the bathrooms here are very basic, very ugly, which is fine for me, but I think that a lot of people want Western style bathrooms, Western style kitchens, and that's available, that you can find that for sure. When looking at kitchens, keep in mind that it's pretty cheap to build things here. So if it doesn't quite work, if there's not enough countertop space or whatever, you can probably have something custom made for maybe 100, 150, maybe 200 bucks. And then, you know, just design it how you want it. We're really into kind of minimalizing, and it's great here because I can go, okay, let's buy these storage containers and we'll have this built for it and everything will fit perfectly. There's a lot of Japanese stores here as well, and the Japanese, I guess it's because there's so many people who live in such small spaces there. that they have things that are really compact and like things fit into other things and everything has a use. This apartment was pretty great. It had some character. The building only had about 10 units in it. The neighborhood was nice and quiet. It was a good size. There's even a little cool down pool on the roof, but it was on the 6th floor and they didn't have an elevator. I thought maybe it wouldn't be too bad, get some exercise, but just after doing that climb once, I was like, no way, this is just silly. Imagine it with a bunch of groceries and stuff. Another important thing is to make sure the building has a generator. You don't necessarily need it nowadays because the electricity here is a lot better than it was 5-10 years ago, but it is something that you should consider, and you want to make sure that the generator is going to supply the whole building. So if there are power cuts, then you know, you're not sitting there sweating to death because your AC and your fans turn off, no internet, you just start going crazy, you start punching things. But if you do have a generator, when that generator kicks in and it just aircon starts blowing on you, internet's back, you're back on the video games, and you're just like, yeah, you're so happy, you're tweaking your nips. Or maybe you express your joy in a different way, but I'm a nip tweaker kind of guy. Here's another apartment that I thought was pretty nice. It was quite spacious, some nice features in it. The kitchen was huge. They have a nice pool. Location was great. Balcony was a bit small, but the deal breaker was the price. It was a bit out of our range. Let's talk about price. Since COVID-19, it's definitely a renter's market. A lot of expats left the country and there are a lot of service departments set up for them, so there's a lot sitting vacant. So most places that were $1,000, you can get for $800, maybe talk them down even more than that. We set our budget at $750 a month. Definitely try to negotiate. Negotiate everything. If they want 2 months deposit, negotiate that down to 1 month. You can try to negotiate the electricity to 25 cents or maybe lower. I don't think you're gonna be able to do that, maybe. Maybe knock off $100 from the rent, or even more if you're getting a bigger place. I know somebody who got a villa and they were able to talk them down $250 a month. I don't know what they're paying, but it's probably a lot more than what we are. This place here was only $400. It wasn't the most convenient location for us, plus there was some construction pretty close by, but it was pretty charming, a bit small. The kitchen was tight, balcony was big, but there were power lines right there. In my mind though, I'm like, it's $350 less than our budget. We could take that $350 a month and do all kinds of cool stuff with it. Pimp this place out, maybe put a fireman's pole in or something. So it took us about a week to find a place, and we kind of jumped at the first place we saw that we didn't have like a, this is great, but we were a bit worried because there were other people coming to see the apartment the same day, so we just didn't want to miss out on it. So we pulled the trigger. I'm not going to show you our place. I never said I was going to, so don't get mad at me. We got robbed not that long ago. I don't need people knowing where I live. I can't have any privacy. Just because I talk about my poops doesn't mean I want to share everything else with you. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about my poops right now. I will tell you that we went with the service department. It's pretty spacious, great light, as you can see on my face. Good views both this way and this way. There's a rooftop pool and gym that really are really nice. One thing that I didn't really think about with the rooftop pool is the social aspect of it. Like the building will have pool parties up there, and it's just a great spot to go and meet other people. So if you just moved to the city and you're looking to make friends, it's a great thing to have. We really love the neighborhood as well, and it's in a neighborhood that is popular and has a lot of construction, but it's a quiet street, close to a market. It's a good spot. I think it's a fine choice, and I think we're gonna be happy here, and that's the bottom line, because an angry, bald man who might be an alcoholic and goes by the name Stone Cold said so. Remember to hit the thumbs up if you found value in this video. Value can be anything. It can be like information, but it also can be like, hey, this guy's really weird. He makes me feel better about myself. Also, send me money. If you want to show support for the channel, then go to itchyfeetonthecheap.com/paymefool. Okay, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys soon. Real soon. Hopefully sooner than the time between the last two videos. I'm starting to hit my stride a little bit. I think I can get pumping these videos out at least once a week. I still got a lot to do though. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm gonna go ball. Fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700 in the bank. Not a superhero, I don't save. Look at my face. Look at my grades. Don't match up, no love. Look at date. I just fade. When I hit the jack, you can keep the pie. Every night I gamble, I stop. Yeah. When I check the cost, I was like,
Oh, that's expensive.
ay, rolling flex in my ear.